The air in the room hummed with unspoken possibilities, thick and warm like the crackling fire in the hearth. Liam offered me the wine, a silent gesture that sent a subtle shiver down my spine. Our fingers barely connected as I took the glass, a fleeting touch that lingered in the quiet space between us. His gaze held mine, an unreadable question in his deep eyes, and for a heartbeat, the world outside the soft glow of the fire vanished. If you've journeyed with me before, you know the drill. A little tap, a subscribe if you're enjoying the vibe. New here? Welcome. You've stumbled into a cozy corner. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get back to the moment. The ruby liquid swirled in Liam's glass as he refilled mine, his movements precise and deliberate. I was nestled on the edge of the plush sofa, legs tucked beneath a well-worn sweater that felt like a second skin. The comforting aroma of cedarwood mingled with the scent of the wine. I held the delicate stem of the glass. Our hands brushed again as he passed it over, a whisper of contact that seemed to stretch time. A tiny pause before he drew his hand away. Maybe nothing, but my senses were heightened. I glanced down, his fingers still hovered near mine, suspended in the stillness. I waited, curious to see if the subtle tension would dissipate. It didn't. The silence between us deepened, not awkward, but charged with a different energy. I became acutely aware of the shrinking distance as he leaned slightly towards the couch. My eyes flicked up to meet his. He was watching me intently, no smile gracing his lips, no words offered, just that steady gaze that makes you wonder what secrets lie beneath the surface. "You always did have a fondness for a good vintage, Chloe," he murmured, his voice a low caress, his hand still lingering near mine. A soft laugh escaped my lips. "Only when you brought it." A hint of a smile touched his mouth. "You always possessed exquisite taste, even way back then." "And now?" I asked, my voice betraying the quickening of my pulse. He leaned in almost imperceptibly, drawing my focus like a magnet. His posture remained relaxed, mirroring mine. "You've blossomed into someone truly remarkable," he said, his tone quiet yet resonant. I noticed his hand was still close, but the unspoken words hanging in the air held my attention captive. I remained still, unsure of the next beat in this silent dance. The glass remained untouched between us. His thumb rested gently near my knuckles, a feather-like connection. The soft melody playing in the background faded into a muted hum. Then, without a word, he released the glass. Only the glass. His fingers brushed my wrist as he reached forward, a fleeting warmth against my skin. He hesitated for a fraction of a second before drawing back. That pause spoke volumes. He didn't return to the armchair across the room. Instead, he settled beside me. The cushion dipped beneath his weight. I held my breath. My pulse quickened its rhythm. He gently swept a stray strand of hair from my face, his fingers a breath away from my cheek. I shifted almost imperceptibly closer, anticipation building. His gaze remained locked on mine, and I found myself unwilling to break the connection. His hand lowered again, resting lightly on my forearm. The silence had shifted again, the casualness now replaced by a palpable intimacy. I wasn't sure what to expect. He leaned forward slightly. "If this feels wrong, Chloe, please say something. I don't want to misread this." I nodded once, a small affirmative gesture. "It's okay." A part of me already knew it was. He reached up, his fingers adjusting the collar of my sweater with a tender glance. The moment stretched, a sense of inevitability settling in. Then he reached for my jaw, his touch slow and deliberate, his hand cupping the curve beneath my cheek. He looked at me with an understanding that seemed to bypass words. I didn't know how to process it. His hand cradled my face, warm and steady, and I found myself leaning into his touch almost instinctively. A slight tremor ran through me as I registered the closeness. The stillness in the room felt charged with unspoken desires. Then he leaned in, his movement unhurried, his eyes never leaving mine. He kissed me, a soft, tentative exploration, and I met his lips without hesitation. No words were exchanged, no urgency, just a moment that unfolded with a quiet grace. My hands found their way to him, resting against the soft fabric of his shirt. I shifted, turning more fully towards him. He stayed close. One of his hands moved to the nape of my neck, a gentle, non-possessive touch. His thumb traced a soft line along my cheek, then drifted down to rest on my arm. A profound stillness settled between us, a silent understanding. I leaned in again, drawn by an invisible force. My hands remained on his chest, a steady anchor. The warmth emanating from him seeped through the fabric, a language all its own, nothing more. He simply watched me, his gaze unwavering. And in that pause, something shifted, a quiet acceptance. He remained close, his forehead briefly touching mine. There was no need for explanation. Whatever this was, it existed beyond words, a choice made in the stillness. His forehead rested against mine, a silent, intimate connection. It wasn't a kiss, just the nearness of him, a closeness that felt both comforting and exhilarating, as if he had found his rightful place. I hadn't realized I was holding my breath until my chest tightened. My fingers curled gently into the fabric of his shirt, grounding myself. He stayed there, his breath soft against my temple. One of his hands found my back, a steady, calming presence. The weight of his touch spoke volumes, a silent reassurance. It held me captive in the present moment, as if nothing else mattered. His touch remained constant, but something within me shifted, a quiet awakening. I looked at him, and he returned my gaze. No pressure, no demands, just that lingering pause that felt like permission to simply be. I moved closer, my shoulder brushing his. My hands rose to his chest, a gentle placement, palm against the steady rhythm of his heart. The warmth beneath my fingertips spoke volumes. I stayed like that, listening to the evenness of his breathing, needing no words in return. He lowered his head, resting his cheek near mine, and my eyes drifted closed. No rush, no urgency, just the quiet intimacy of being close, of choosing stillness. One of his arms wrapped around me, and I nestled into the embrace, letting the quiet enfold us. Time seemed to lose its meaning. There was nothing beyond that moment. No sounds, no distractions, no future to grasp for. I felt his breath again, soft and regular, and my own breath synchronized with his. Not out of obligation, but out of a quiet harmony. We remained like that, close enough to hear the unspoken language of our hearts. I let my thoughts drift away. I allowed the silence to deepen, my hand resting on his chest, not for what might come, but for the beauty of what already was. And when I breathed again, it was a conscious choice, a quiet affirmation of the moment. Quick question for you. If you were Chloe in that moment, would you have leaned in or pulled away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious. And if you're enjoying these little glimpses into intimate moments, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next story. Thanks for being here.